Day two kicks off in the hotel dining room. That quiet morning shuffle where everyone's half awake and pretending that their itinerary isn't wildly overambitious. But breakfast did its job. The coffee, less so. Let's say it was just more hot brown liquid than actually motivation. But carbs were consumed, plans were made, and we were officially in motion. Mildly undercaffeinated, but ready for Dresden. As we made our way through Dresden's old town, the skyline suddenly lifted, and there it was, the Frauenkirche. You don't really see it all at once. It kind of reveals itself in pieces, one curve at a time. It's big, it's Baroque, and somehow still graceful, like a stone version of someone trying really hard not to show off, but definitely is showing off. What makes this church stand out isn't just how beautiful it is what it has been through. Bombed to ruin in World War II, it sat as a pile of stones for decades. Literally, locals called it the heap. Not super poetic, but accurate. It wasn't until after the reunification that Dresden decided to rebuild it, not as a replica, but as a resurrection. They used the original plans, they reused the original stones. That's why part of the exterior looks patchy. Those dark stones, that's the old church, scorched by the fire. The pale ones are the new. It's like architectural scar tissue, a design that doesn't hide the past, but stitches it right into the present. Walking inside, the tone shifts completely. From the outside, it feels monumental. Inside, it's soft, round, almost delicate. There's a creamy pastel palette, mint greens, warm pinks, and golden highlights, like someone designed a cupcake and said, let's make it 90 feet tall. The altar is the showstopper. Marble, gold, dramatic clouds, and a whole choir of stone angels doing their best to look serene. The ceiling curves way above you, painted in calm, swirling tones that almost make you forget how massive it all is. It's one of those spaces that makes you instinctively lower your voice, even if you're not entirely sure why. But here's the part that got me, and maybe it's the history nerd in me. This whole place was rebuilt with help from donations across the world. Citizens of Dresden, yes, but also people from Coventry in Britain, whose own cathedral was bombed in the same war. That kind of circular compassion, that's powerful. It's a space that holds grief and hope at the same time. I always wonder what churches like this are for in the modern world. I mean, beyond the obvious. This one feels like it's not just here for worship, but for witnessing, for remembering, for showing what it means to be put back together, carefully, helplessly, and imperfectly. We linger longer than planned. The light filtering in just right, tourist whispers in different languages, and I kept catching people looking up, not at anything specific, just up. which feels about right here. Eventually, we wander back out into the square, blinking like we've just emerged from a dream baked in sandstone and silence. There's more Dresden to see, but the Frauenkirche leaves a mark, the quiet kind that settles in later when you already somewhere else, still thinking about how stone can carry memory.
Nee, das ist der sechste.
We emerged from the Frauenkirchen's shadow. We found ourselves facing a familiar sight, the Johanneum, now home to Dresden's Verkehrsmuseum. This Renaissance era stables building, designed by Christian I between 1586 and 1590, served royals for centuries before being repurposed as Dresden's Transport Museum in 1956. From the front, its dignified facade of tall arched windows and ornate stonework, and that recently restored Verkehrsmuseum's rooftop lettering, visible reminder of its new life. We only had time for an exterior cameo. No locomotives or zeppelins this time. But it's a cool full circle nod. After all, we saw this from behind on day one, and now we are officially saying hello from the front.
And with the Frauenkirchen behind me, it's time for beer. Cheers.
Then, around the corner, the Semperoper. One of those buildings that just owns the square it stands in. You don't even have to be into opera to appreciate the drama of it. All the arches, columns, and the signature mix of Renaissance and Baroque, like it's auditioning to be its own backdrop. Designed by Gottfried Semper, hence the name, it's been rebuilt more than once thanks to fire and war, but you'd never guess it from the way it sits there. Calm, grand, and looking like it knows exactly how acoustics works. We didn't go inside this time, but standing in the square is enough to feel it. It's kind of place that whispers, you should probably be wearing something more elegant right now, right? Walking into the Zwinger feels like you've accidentally wandered onto the set of a period drama, the kind with powdered wigs, orchestras, and no shortage of dramatic fountains. Originally built in the early 18th century, the Zwinger wasn't a palace in the traditional sense. More of a ceremonial courtyard meets show off your power architectural statement. Augustus the Strong, Elector of Saxony and self declared lover of doing the most, commissioned it as a venue for court festival. Think garden parties, banquets, elaborate displays of how rich and influential you were. And honestly, it still gives off look at me energy, but in the best way. You're surrounded by a U shaped complex of sweeping pavilions, balustrades, and galleries, all draped in sculptures that ranges from classical noble to delightfully dramatic. The detailing is so ornate that it's hard to know where to look first. Cherubs, garlands, allegorical figures that probably means something profound if you took the right art class. The whole place feels carefully choreographed. Fountains in perfect symmetry, curved staircases leading up to pavilions, archways framing other archways. It's basically a masterclass in Baroque composition. In the center is the courtyard garden, a neat green space that balances out all the stone grandeur. It's the kind of spot where you half expect someone in a powdered wig to come gliding past with a parasol and some gossip. But instead, it's tourists quietly marveling, couples posing for photos, and kids chasing pigeons who clearly don't appreciate the architectural significance of where they are standing. The sound of the fountains adds this soft, constant backdrop, not quite silence, but definitely serenity. If you're into symmetry, golden hour here is a dream. Every column casts a perfect shadow. Every window reflects the sky just so. Even the pigeons seems well placed. One of the standout features is the crown gate, with its huge golden orb perched on a top. Dramatic and a little extra, just like Augustus probably wanted it. Walk through it and you'll feel like you are entering something important, even if you're just there to admire the view. There's also the wall pavilion, the ornate showpiece on the courtyard side, where the detailing gets particularly ambitious. You've got stairs, fountains, statues on every available surface. It looks like it's trying to win an award for most Baroque per square meter, and honestly, it probably should. It's also worth remembering that a lot of what you're looking at was rebuilt. Like much of Dresden's Zwinger was heavily damaged in World War II. What we see now is the result of a meticulous reconstruction, decades of work, carefully recreating the original splendor, stone by stone. That makes walking through it even more meaningful. Not just beauty for beauty's sake, but a kind of historical resilience turned into architecture. We didn't go inside this time. This whole separate visit with museums and galleries and porcelain collections, that's way more fascinating than it sounds, but even without stepping indoors, the Zwinger holds its own. It's one of those places that doesn't ask for attention. It just assumes you'll give it. And to be fair, you probably will.
And this is the Zwinger Palace. This was a party place for the king. It was also soldiers' palace. This is why the moat is here on this side. It was covered. It was good defensible, but the king used it as a party venue. So.
Stepping into Pfunds Molkerei is like walking into a Baroque daydream, if that daydream happened to sell cheese and herbal soaps. The walls and ceilings are covered in hand-painted Villeroy and Bock tiles, vivid blues and greens and golds, with swirling floral patterns and gilded cherubs who seem just a little too smug about the dairy selection. It's part pharmacy, part palace, part very specific fantasy where dairy products are divine. The shop is filled with all kinds of local treats, cheeses, jams, soaps, snaps, and after some intense browsing and a very persuasive tasting sessions, I walked out with a bottle of pistachio milk liqueur wrapped carefully in white paper. Because nothing says sophisticated traveler like not infused dairy wrapped in a tiny present. What was supposed to be a quick stop turned into a little feast for the senses. The kind of palace where you leave dazzled, smelling faintly of milk and marzipan, and wondering if you need more liquor. Just a stone's throw from the Zwinger, the Dresden Ferris Wheel adds a dash of modern whimsy to the Baroque-heavy neighborhood. It's not the tallest or fastest wheel out there, but the views. Absolutely unbeatable. From up top, you'll get a fresh perspective on Dresden skyline, the Elbe River winding through, and maybe even a sneaky glimpse of the city's famous cupola. Plus, it's a reminder that even a city packed with history, there's always room for a bit of fun and height-induced awe.
And now we are in an Italian restaurant in Dresden.
After a day of sightseeing, we were ready for some serious carbs, and that meant heading to Sfizio, an Italian spot that's famous around Dresden for its pizza. The place nails the perfect balance between classic and creative. Thin, crispy crust topped with fresh ingredients that makes you wonder why you ever settled for frozen pizza. Whether you're a fan of the classic or feeling adventurous, Sfizio got a slice or three with your name on it. Time to dig in.
Now we will try the pizza here at restaurant Sfizio. Sfizio. This was super delicious. If you want to have a good Italian pizza, this is the place to come. And the dough for the pizza, amazing.
And just like that, our time in Dresden winds down. Bags packed, feet slightly sore, and memory cards definitely full. Dresden Hauptbahnhof is one of those stations that feels more like a cathedral of movement, vaulted glass ceiling, trains slipping in and out like clockwork, and the familiar mix of tired travelers, goodbyes, and the occasional pretzel stand. There is something weirdly comforting about train station. The rhythm of it all, the soft echo of announcements you don't quite catch, and the quiet little excitement that comes when heading somewhere else. As we settle into our seats and watch the city slide away through the window, there's time to think back on everything. The Baroque overload, the pistachio liqueur, the cherubs judging your cheese choices, and the feeling that Dresden was far more than just another stop on the map. Thank you for joining us on day 2 of our Dresden adventure. If you haven't already, give the video a like, subscribe for more nerdy travels, and let us know in the comments where you think we should go next. As always, stay curious, stay nerdy, and do keep exploring.